Oh, good morning. Things going all right. I did make the money last week. Um, on Monday, they called me in on my non-sched day, and I was able to work 12 hours that day. So that was all time and a half. And um, I don't know if it's after 8. Um, what the hell? Um, is it double time? I'm not sure about that. But I made my quota. Um, so I'm pretty psyched about that. Um, Made it easy to pay the rent and, yeah, not be broke. So I'm finally smooth after the move. Um, yeah, kind of a bum deal. I don't have any hard feelings at the individual, like I said, seniority um, is blind, um, and that's the way it should be, because people have biases, and so seniority kind of cures that problem, because people naturally like people, and that it filters their judgment. So that doesn't necessarily correlate with volume and productivity. Because my idea is it should be the volume that you stand behind. That's what should make you climb. Um, but it's not that way. So, seniority is the way it goes. Um, so, I mean, I'm happy being the T6, and it's good because, the routes are good. I'd like to have my own route, but, the money and so I found out my seniority changed because I bid a route, and I wasn't going to take it anyways. And I was surprised so many people bid it because it's a ton of packages. You have to make probably 2 trips, and Lennox is quite far away. So I mean, that's a lot. I mean, I guess yeah, built-in overtime. I get that, but I would be nervous about them saying, you know what I mean? I don't want to get into arguments about how much time, I don't want to get involved in that. So, yeah, I wasn't going to take it anyways. But yeah, the list, and it changed. And it changed the time before because it was 32 that I bid. And I was then above somebody else that was above me. And it's crazy. I was like, what the heck is up with that? Now, in my personal opinion, I mean, I guess what happened was the postmaster looked it up. 3 people got hired the same day. So in that case, they go by test score and then Social Security, and I guess there's veteran preference too. So I guess that's in that scenario. And what made it kind of tricky was one individual was already working there when I showed up, and I was working there when the next person showed up. Like maybe even 3 weeks. It might have been a month when the next person below, well, that used to be below me, came into the office. So in your mind, you're thinking that's the seniority by how you see people enter the office. And so the guy ahead of me is kind of frustrated about it. I mean, I told him, don't worry, I would have passed on the route despite me really wanting it. You gotta be right. That's what matters. Um, there's only like 2 routes that I really want in the office. That would be Route 41 and 32, which I lost 32. I was, again, surprised how many people bid that route. So I'm not really that hip on knowing what people want, which is cool about, yeah, talking about in the office about what you want is kind of Yeah, not wise. Anyways, it's kind of like a social thing, right? I mean, it's kind of, yeah. So, but they don't count prior service. I think in a situation where you um, get rehired and you have a situation where there's another person being hired at the same day, I think they should count your prior service. Because then I'd win. Because I've been working at the post office a little while, then I'd win, so it's like technicality, basically. So, and there's a couple people that are always calling out sick, and I was like, man, I'm not a sore loser. I'm not like Charles Kirk, who feels that the Hispanic person that became the police officer got it because of his color. You know what I mean? It's just because he's a sore loser. I mean, he didn't finish community college. How the hell are you going to finish West Point? It's just being a sore loser. So you got to have class. Try to. And yet, so, yeah, I'm happy that the person didn't want my position as a T6, so that's cool. I don't really have to be feeling guilty about that. But yeah, it's like, how do you get that wrong? I guess the post office had the seniority wrong somehow, and then they fixed it. I mean, how do you get it wrong to begin with? I mean, and that really does affect how people think about their career, because that puts me third in the wave, because they kind of come in waves. There's a group that came in that just got converted, and then there's another group after that. It's kind of like waves. So of this wave, which has just enough seniority to get something that's okay and decent, I'm now the third of that wave. So it's kind of a bum deal at my age. It's like, oh yeah, there's this one route that there's a D6 route that I'd like to have. And being the third wave kind of is a bum deal because, probably the route is not going to be winnable by the people in my wave anyways, so it doesn't really matter. But when there's a good route that is winnable by the wave that I'm in, being the third guy last is a bum deal. So yeah, that's kind of when you're thinking about your career, that affects how you're going to either stay at a job versus looking for another one. Because there's been a wave of retirements, and now the retirements are going to slow down. So now you're kind of stuck. So it's kind of something, it's not like a light mistake that you should be taken lightly. That the post office just doesn't seem to take shit like that serious. You know what I mean? You should. Because why would I waste my time? You know what I mean? That's my only beef about it. It's not the beef against the person. I'm happy that it got corrected. The only time that I'd be pissed would be, and I don't believe this, is if they doctored it. I don't think they doctored the seniority. If they did that, that's freaking, yeah, I'd be freaking pissed. I'd be freaking nuts. So yeah, kind of a bum deal. Yeah, I was thinking, it's like, yeah, my luck when 41, if it does get open, because I would have won that. Well, probably not. Well, yeah. Now, this time around, someone that's more senior than me is going to bid 41. You know what I mean? So then I'm like, well, I hope the person that calls out sick all the time does. Because then as a T6, and the person calls out sick all the time, I switch right to work assignment. And, I don't care about people calling out sick. But As a work assignment in T6, you're like, yeah, I hope you're calling out sick. You gotta call out sick, because then I'm guaranteed hours on my string. And that sick call person will be handing me overtime, so yeah. That'd be cash cow right there, I'd be cashing in. And then not only that, I'd be able to carry and bid and carry my favorite route almost every day that the person calls out sick. So, hell yeah, that would be awesome, So yeah, it's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Kind of a surprise. That's pretty much the emotional part of it. It's like, geez, it changed. How the hell did it change when you see the list of the people that bid on the route? How the heck did it change? You know what I mean? So I'm gonna settle down. Just don't bid a route because you think you can win. I think that's kind of the reason why I bid the damn route, because I thought I had a chance to get it. And then you can try it for 3 days. And then turn it down. That's basically what I did with 38. So I'm gonna run later today. Feeling well. Doing pretty good. Can't complain. I guess if they make a mistake with seniority, then they put it up the bid. That's not really, I think if they make a mistake in seniority, it just should go to the correct person. Because if you rebid it, someone that didn't bid it when it was won might change their mind and bid it, and has more seniority than you. That's not really fair. You know what I mean? Because now all of a sudden both of you are screwed. Because someone senior to both of you decided to take the route. Because the company made a mistake. I mean, that's I don't know, man. That's kind of weird. It should just go to the correct person. And in my opinion, there should be some compensation to the person who was wrongfully put above for that time period. Seriously. Because it alters the way that you think about your career. It might make you stay when you might have perhaps passed up opportunities based on your idea of where you're standing in seniority. You know what I mean? It's I don't run things, but or at least I didn't steal anybody's desired position. The person didn't want the T6 string, so I feel all right on that. And I feel good about how I didn't do that. That would not make me feel right, because seniority is a real important part of the career. If it isn't, it might be the most important part, because it's the blind method to get rid of unfairness, of who gets the cake and who doesn't. I love watching like Larry David's comedies, because it talks about like social things, and one person talked to the person and was like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna win T6." No, it's not a big deal, but I've been talking about liking that route, and so it's like, wait till I'm away from earshot. You know what I mean? I'm there, right beside an earshot. Wait until I'm like not within earshot. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the hell, dude? Those kind of social things, I have a quirk about too. So that's probably the reason why I like Larry David's comedies, because those kind of social rules per se are kind of like what I'm thinking about all the time, because it comes across like I'm getting it rubbed in my face or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not the end of the world. And I'm gonna run today. clean up my place and get going. And I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you.